to show the public that it is possible. That's the thing about the government. They have a lower estimation of humanity, especially black people. They don't have it no more because we just stuck our foot in behind. They have not laid a finger. Now, when I say that, you can't stop the government from doing stuff to you. You see what I mean? Like, I can walk right out here right now. They could take me to jail for anything they want. They could technically shoot. They could say I had a black coat and a black eye, and ain't nothing gonna happen to them. But we froze their mind. We brought the protection of Allah on these jokers. By what? Exactly what we said. It was 7 years ago. We talked about, just remember the literature, we talked about grand juries. Yeah. And in 2010, we also talked about the Manual of Islamic Movement. What is this for the last year? It's a public grand jury indictment of the system. Remember, that's what we've been doing. We've been presenting our picture. They thought that if they could make a move, see, we would be hemmed in. These people are dummies. You know why? They'll judge you by what you was 45 years ago. And 45 years ago, you wouldn't have went for that. 45 years ago, we was fighting based on what we knew, what we understood then. Now, we're in a whole new ball game. They're the ones that the world see as backwards and idiots. And Mukhtar, he did us a favor. We needed, think about several years ago, we talked about it. We have to have this public relations. We talked about Australia and we talked about everywhere, this New Zealand. But what could we make interesting to those people? Now we got a whole story to tell. We're going to start with the 2013-ish, 14-ish, 15-ish, 16-ish, 17-ish, because there's a couple of things. We have to get our money back and we have to humiliate the government. Like the simple things we talk about. Psychological guerrilla warfare. When we go out there, we're just going to take our speaker, just like we did in front of CARE, right? And we're just going to go to the newspapers, the government buildings. We're going to go all over where the people is hanging out. I'm even go to my old corners. You know, the old corners that there's still a few old folks, the society's changed, but we're going to give a little talk, probably 3 or 4 a day. And whatever they do out there, it don't make no difference. This is what we're going to do. We're going to be an example for people to show them that you can design your own future. Now, we take it into account, Allah controls everything. I'm talking about in human terms. That you can design your own future. Not only can you design your future, but you can design a world that you want to live in. Not you by yourself, but how are the people of the world feeling? Are we in tune? Are the people of the world worried about polar bears? Worried about gas and that, right? Are they worried about it? Do they want to fix it? Yep. We're in tune. The government is the ones that's out of tune. So now We are shaping the message. We're in charge of the narrative. Like we showed some pictures before, Black Panther looking guy, the slick Negro looking guy, then as a Muslim. Those were conscious decisions. We have, as communities, passed all of those tests. Now, our goal is to help. It's like the old talk on ilm and amal. You know, ilm is knowledge and amal is work. If you have the right knowledge, you should be able to help lead people through the minefields of life and reach a goal or an honored destiny. That's what we headed. We're not putting up with this stuff anymore. Nonviolent resistance means working toward change, not sitting up waving a flag. They can keep all their voting, all their government. We're going so far around them. Anybody want to vote for them, go ahead. But we can use what we have. Just imagine it for a minute. All the big Masjid doing Allah's work. Can you imagine even 20% of the churches doing the work that Jesus was doing? You wouldn't need no more old folks home. You wouldn't need it because they're doing the work. If we hit enough of them, it's going to click on like a light. What? That's right. Leave the government alone. Stop begging them to fix this and fix that. In the old days, the government didn't fix nothing. Barely had roads. The people did everything. That's what the church did, right? That's what the family did. So what we're taking people back to is where everybody want to go. Just imagine DC churches solving the problem. After the churches start doing a little bit, then the Masjid, those Masjid that get jealous and start doing a little, I mean.
Like they always do.
Yeah, here you can't just go over there and tell them, this is the Sunnah. They're going to look at you and call the police. They're going to push the police button. They ain't going to call them out in front, but you never can tell. So, dear believers, we'll be heading out soon. This is technically the last. And that's all we wanted to do was to say that in what we call strategic management, scanning our environment, studying its history, its patterns of behaviors, studying all its dreams and outlooks, what it's all about. Then after that, developing a strategy, plan of action to make the world a good place. Then after that grand plan, implementing it. And after you implement it, that's what we've been doing. Everything we're talking about, we've implemented it. Everything we was talking about 10 years ago, 5 years ago, we've been implementing it all the time. And if we came from Oakland to here, it was because this is where we needed to be. Our evolution in the last months of being here has been rocket ship evolution. I mean, great evolution. Okay? So now we have a basic outline of what we believe we need to do. We have a basic outline. It's not we have. We've had that outline. What we're talking now has been around for, let's say, a decade easy. It's been a decade easy. Actually, it's been 20 or 30 years. It was the idea from the very beginning, but it's evolved. See, think about it. If you got a championship fight coming up, would you fight when the people tell you you're ready, when the others say you're ready, or when you feel you're ready. You fight when you feel you're ready. That's what we are now. All ideas, this is nothing new. But one thing that was necessary that we shouldn't forget, we had to show people that they don't have to be afraid. We had to show, or we wanted to show, what we did is that the system is vulnerable. It has leaks and weaknesses, and they're getting bigger and bigger all the time. So the other thing is heroics. I used the word several months back, gallantry. Very few people think of niggas as being gallant, right? They never use that word. It's the Knights of the Round Table or gallant. Somebody who's gallant, but not Negroes. Well, new day now. Negroes is gallant, high-minded, stupendous. Yeah, Negroes are beyond anything that they've ever been, because we want to push the world to good. So anyway, that's what these last few years have been. We will explain to people what they was. Don't pay attention to these people, the stuff they was doing. We engineered that. We have to keep letting you know everything happened was engineered. Everything that happens up to today is engineered. Have old Sam went to sleep? Absolutely not. But he ain't getting nowhere. This go around will be more effective in doing certain things and more job descriptions than somebody just floating up. Because they really off base this go around. If you think they was panicked before, look at what old dumb Mukhtar is trying to tell the white man. This guy has put that stuff in a magazine that's in 19 languages. He has friends all over the world. That's true. You knew what you was doing before. You knew all that before. And they let the European make a fool out of them. Because we'll be more organized, because we'll be more disciplined, because we'll be more focused, do not mean we'll be more harsh. Because when Allah lays grace on you, then you have to respond to that properly with thanks and appreciation. Shukr. It's like Ash-Shakur, one who is eternal and all the time thankful and appreciative. And in closing, that's what I say about this mission. And the last thing is, dear brothers and sisters, get on board on this. Look, I know that a monthly paycheck, it's stable, but you're gonna die the boringest death that you can think of. That you was here 30, 40, 50, 70 years, 80 years, maybe even 100 years. You haven't even been to China. You haven't been to Ooga Booga land. You've never walked a trail in the Congo. You know that movie you gave me about, do you know that guy was supposed to have been from South Africa? And they kept showing scenes of Mitchell's Plain. Mitchell's Plain and the flats. That is part of Cape Town. every movie I almost look at, no matter where it is, oh yeah, man, that's such and such. That's nice. That is special. If we hang on to this cracker's coattail, he'll just make a bunch of damn fools out of us. He'll design our life for us, and the white man give niggas small, dumb parts. Look what he did to Mukhtar. Look what he did to Mukhtar. Look what he did to Abdul-Malik. Look what he did. You remember Mella yelling them, don't they look funny when they come around? They look funny. What kind of life is that, to have that expression? You don't have to have that expression. If you do right, you don't have to have none of that. At first, doing right, it takes a little time. But if you do a little right, don't worry, you can mess up. You can mess up a little bit here and there, right? Because all of us did. We still do. So Allah know if you just want to do good and you want to do right, man, stuff will hit you you never even thought. Because that stuff the Quran Hadith talks about is true. But you don't get none of it hardly, a taste of it, unless you make the effort. If you don't, it don't just float on you and say, yeah, you good nigga, you know, you laugh and talk and here you go. No, you got to work for it. And I know probably at first it's hard, but after Allah kick in, it ain't nothing. Can you imagine that years ago the white man could say, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. It had all that effect on your life, our life, my life. Now, the cracker can't do nothing. And the cracker, I'm not bragging, he don't talk to me like this guy just pleaded guilty to something or other, right? Them big white folks. He can't tell me, I'm going to do it. You know, like if you did some crime or something and I thought I'd buck at you if you don't cooperate. He can't do that to me. Well, you better get the thorn in cracker. Little funny looking B-word personality. Who you think you talking to? I'm Imam Musa, sucker. And you a fool, you a prosecutor, you a government employee. You know the dumbest people in the world? The saddest people in the world? Do you know the most redundant people and the most unhumorous, saddest people in the world are government employees? Like we was talking the other day about the brothers down at the Jeep, whatever it is. They won't even retire because they don't have nothing to do. What would I do with my time if I didn't work for the white man? Right? The whole world. The person went to D.C., probably might have got lucky, went up to New York once or twice, or down to Carolina. They've never been to Mexico. They've probably never been to Canada. Just Canada. You can throw a rock, go up, hey man, we'll drive to Canada, pick up some books. Right? Can you imagine living a whole life, going to work and coming back, and that man, that job describes who you are? I wish everybody could, in the old days, I could buy Negroes, Cadillacs and Benzes and stuff. Can't do that right now. But if you get on this right here, this is like 50 times better than a Cadillac in those days. Not a Cadillac now, ain't none of old ragged car. Life can be so good, it's unbelievable. Thank y'all very much. And anybody want to see me, come on out this time next week and holler at me. I'll be out there in Oakland, inshallah. And we're going to do a lot of good out there. Get things kicked off. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
Oh, shoot.
Huh?
Nobody really had any question. You had one guy kind of giving his support. He gave an opinion, but he gave support. Somebody you may know, Anthony Wiggins, David Wiggins in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he was commenting mostly. But you had a lot of views tonight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you had a lot of people tuning in tonight.
Very good, very good.
See, this is the food, you know how the white man, how technical he is.
Right.
On this page, January the 7th, 27th,
Uh-huh.
he's got Chief Executive Officer Mukhtar,
Right.
Secretary Ishmael Jordan,
Mm-hmm.
and the Chief
Yeah.
Financial Officer Sakila.
Saquila, yeah.
Okay,
Then he changed it on the other one, he changed it around.
yeah,
He changed the secretary and,
yeah, and then he's Kenneth Jordan.
Mhm.
All three of these
On
people.
the checks,